Good evening, I'm Zarisha Bradley with your 9 local news update. It appears all goodwill in territory politics has evaporated during a special parliamentary sitting today. The opposition and crossbenchers accusing Labor of shutting down debate.
Starting earlier than usual, it didn't take long for the arguing to begin, after question time and normal routine was set aside.
No debate. This unbelievable government.
Labor wanting to focus solely on 3 pieces of coronavirus legislation. The goodwill over the past month disappeared as the opposition tried to table a petition against rental pet laws.
I have a petition here of 8,300 plus people, and you are denigrating something they care about.
We're in an emergency sitting of Parliament. You come in here to talk about how you don't like animals, dog snob.
Labor muzzled the motion with its numbers and were confronted with a second petition from Robin Lamley. Again, the government bit back.
When I talk to the point of why this government doesn't support the suspension of standing orders, you act like it's some trivial issue. The coronavirus crisis is real.
This is not democratic. This is not transparent. This is not allowing the people of the Northern Territory to have a voice.
Labor claims next week's Public Accounts Committee hearing will allow extra scrutiny.
This extraordinary sitting on a Friday starting at 8:30 and will go until these bills are passed. We will sit here till midnight if that's what it takes.
But in the end, they didn't need to. With no question time, all 3 bills passed and the Parliament was adjourned early by 3:18. Kathleen Gazzola, 9 News.
After a decade of repairs on the ground, an iconic Northern Territory aircraft will take to the sky tomorrow morning. The Anzac Day flight will honour those who have served.
Almost 40 years ago, this DC-3 was brought to Darwin and later purchased by John Hardy.
$15,000, and it was on auction.
Used to ferry passengers to and from Bathurst Island, the plane also flew for Anzac Day and the anniversary of the bombing of Darwin.
It was designed in the 1930s, and the man who designed it was still a senior engineer right up until the 60s.
10 years ago, she was grounded for a makeover, but before being stripped bare of her wings, she flew one last passenger.
Here we go! Yeah!
Well, believe it or not, it was Bear Grylls. It was really good. Yeah, he jumped out of it a couple of times and all that stuff.
She's now repaired and ready to commemorate Anzac Day sky high once more.
The aircraft will take off at around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and head out first over the northern suburbs and to Lee Point. It'll then cruise along the coast towards the city before orbiting over Fanny Bay.
She'll then glide on south to Palmerston and the rural area, guzzling 450 litres of fuel provided by Viva Energy.
It's a way of expressing our gratitude to those that have served the country.
Ellie Conway, 9 News.
Darwin's Hells Angels Sergeant-at-Arms Philip O'Shea has been jailed more than 3 months after police executed a search warrant at a Yarrawonga home, seizing drugs, cash and prohibited weapons. The 46-year-old pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 18 months behind bars, suspended after 9 months. City of Darwin Council and Charles Darwin University have signed off on the land sale to move its campus into the CBD. The $14.6 million deal has been hailed a welcome boost for the NT economy.
With boots on the ground, Council's Green Army has begun beautifying the city. The new recruits all given a second chance at employment after many of them lost their jobs due to COVID-19.
Knowing that even in the midst of all this sadness and unknown certainty what's going on, we can still beautify our surroundings.
And with coronavirus flattening the economy, Council has taken matters into its own hands, fast-tracking the sale of land on Kavanagh Street in the CBD to make way for a university campus as part of the $200 million city deal.
Council agreed to sell the land yesterday for $14.6 million.
Charles Darwin University says the transfer was completed sooner than originally planned to allow it to expedite the project. Council will use the funds to upgrade facilities in the CBD, including relocating the public library to the Smith Street Mall. The city campus is expected to generate more than $250 million into the Darwin economy over the next 15 years and create more than 100 jobs by 2023.
We certainly need that at this time, don't we? And it's very much a positive outcome.
The campus is due for completion by 2024. Ainsley Kosh, 9 News.
Housing analyst Domain has described Darwin's housing market as cautious as a result of COVID-19, with fewer buyers and new listings dropping by 20%.
Houses are now back to prices that were seen back in 2008, and units have pulled back even further, and they're at 2006 prices.
While transactions are estimated to slow further in the coming months, Domain says Darwin's housing rebound is better placed than tourism-reliant capital cities such as Hobart.
Good evening. I hope you're well. Gavin Morris with a look at your Anzac Day weather. I think we can safely say that the dry season has settled in. Very clear still now right across all of northern, central, eastern Australia. Quiet times. We're even seeing the humidity levels drop, so really getting drier as the trades continue to make their way over the Gulf, Timor and Arafura seas. We're not expecting any storm activity tomorrow whatsoever. Temperatures climbing into the high 30s, particularly inland where it's going to be very dry all the way to the Alice, where we'll see 33 unfold Tennant Creek into the mid-30s. Looking at the tides tomorrow, you've got an early high tide at about 10 to 8, so it'll be dropping in the afternoon at about 1:36. 24 to 35, largely big blue skies right across the entire top end, and this trend has settled in and looks like it's here for the next week at least. Good night.
Smith Street Social is offering $3 meals to all hospitality workers in the top end. It's the industry that's been hit the hardest, most out of jobs or unsupported by government due to visa restrictions.
We've got musos, entertainers, security guards, people that basically have been affected by this in the whole of the hospitality industry.
Hundreds have taken up the offer. That'll continue every Wednesday and Friday between 3 and 5 p.m. until restrictions are lifted. Thank you for joining us. To stay up to date, follow 9 News Darwin on Facebook and 9news.com.au.